where we couldn't see him and he couldn't see us. He'd just stop and stand there. He was mad. So I'd have to go back and get him and make him get up there and walk with us, because it was, really wrecking the day. This was on the very first day. Well, it was the second day, actually. And that evening, about 4:00 in the evening, we had trouble with him all day long. I seen a young girl way up on the side of the mountain putting some goats in a pen. She looked like a little toy action figure. That's how small she was.
Okay.
The goats in the pen. She was quite a ways away. I says, Gothe, you holler up there, because I had told him that there's tigers here and you better keep walking with it. No, there weren't no tigers there. He wasn't going to walk. He wasn't going to do nothing. And so I says, you just holler up there and you ask her if there ain't tigers here. And boy, I knew the answer when it come back. And that little sucker, from then on, if I took a step forward, he took a step forward. If I took a step backward, he took a step backward. He stayed by my side. He never left my side after that.
So he wasn't whacking the tiger with a stick wasn't an option.
No, that was not an option. He wasn't going to mess with no tigers. But when she come back and said, yes, there are tigers here, that was the end of that being mad and pouting and stuff.
Well, then how long did it take you to get to your destination?
Well, we went to Pokhara first. Well, first of all, we went to Gurkha. You've heard of the Gurkha soldier.
Yes, the Gurkha rifles.
Right, and they fought all over the world with the British and stuff. And we went to they didn't have a road there to their place, and they had an automobile up there. Their little village was 3 streets wide and not even a block long. And they had a car up there, an old English car. I think it was a Vauxhall, but I'm not sure. And I asked them, how'd you get that up? They said we took it apart piece by piece and carried it up here and then put it back together. And these were the old soldiers that had fought in the Second World War. And some of them, most of them were old, so they were from Second World War. It was interesting as heck talking to them. They were interesting as all get out.
Did they speak English?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They fought with the British for all them years.
Okay.
And they didn't even have a road now they have a road to their village. And that's on F-35, if you can see that, is Gurkha. So you can see how high above the road we were from at that point right there. And then after we left there, we continued west, and from Gurkha, it's about halfway from Kathmandu to Gurkha, and then the next halfway to Pokhara. So when we got to Pokhara, we wested. We spent a few days there, and I put Gothe on a bus to go back to Kathmandu. So he went back to Kathmandu, and then we headed out towards Jompson, which is on FO42, the road. Of course, like I said, that road wasn't there either. Mm-hmm. It was just a footpath. And that's where you can see the Annapurnas. And we went to the Annapurna amphitheater. Well, we didn't go to it, but we went below it. And it was huge. Huge. And the last night or the night before we went there, that we spent, man, during the middle of the night, sound sleep, because you would sleep really good after doing all that walking all day.
Sure.
We heard this huge crack. Loud. And a whole chunk of that side of that snow had broke off of there. You could see it in the morning where it had come down. And that's what the big crack was in the rumble. And, another interesting thing, just before we got to Pokhara, well, there was a whole bunch of things I'm missing here.
That's okay.
Also, when we were on that trek, I don't know if it was before Gurkha or after Gurkha, we heard this here, like it sounded like a pop inside of a tin can. It was put, real low, just barely hear it. And then it finally got louder and louder. As what it was a little one-cylinder Briggs & Stratton engine. And when you got like a mile or two away, you could smell the gas fumes from it.
Really?
There's nothing else there. There's none of those things there. And so you could hear that engine, and then you could, when you got a few miles away, a couple miles away, you could smell the exhaust of it.
Okay.
And it was a little Briggs and Stratton engine they used to lift and lower the wood beam to pound the rice, to get the hull off of the rice.
Okay.
And that was amazing how that, because there's no other there, how much area that them smells or them sounds cover. And there was something else. Anyway, after we went to the Annapurna Amphitheater, then we come on back and got to Pokhara, and then we took the bus. We did take the bus back to Kathmandu.
But you had sent Gothe ahead back to Kathmandu.
He had been home for a week or two. I don't remember exactly
did you send him back because it was time for him to go back to school? He was done. You were done with him. Why did you send him back?
No, just because he was tired. He was only 10 years old.
Sure.
And we were going up into the state. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. We were going up into the higher mountains and stuff.
Okay.
And boy, I'm telling you, my brain is shot. I remembered something and then forgot it already. Anyway, so we took the bus back. No, he wasn't going to go to school no more. We had signed him out of the orphanage. Kids didn't go to school if they were on the street. They didn't. There was no such a thing.
So you finished the adventure, went back to Kathmandu, and did you meet back up with Gothe again then?
Yeah, he had been staying with my friend. She had been taking care of me, been living at the hotel with her. But she says, he's stealing my stuff. And I says, oh, he would steal. She bought a lot of little knickknacks to travel with, scissors that folded, just little things, and
Sure.
he'd steal them because he'd go and buy marbles to play gunja, and then he would lose them, so he'd come back and he'd steal something else so he could go sell it and get money for it. So when I got back, she says, he's stealing my stuff. So I took him out and I said, Gothe, you can't do that. What? And that's when I really got serious with him. And I says, what do you want to do? The international airport, like I said, it opened up. A lot of tourists were coming there.
Right.
I says, and a lot of older guys were shoe shining. And I says, Gothe, I will buy you everything. I'll build you a kit, a shoe shine box, or have it built. I'll buy you all the different polishes, the rags, everything you need. Do you want to do that? Would you like to do that? Nope, he didn't want to. I says, okay, do you want us to take you back to India and find your mother? No, he didn't want to do that. I said, do you want to come? Do you want us to see if we can get you a visa and stuff and bring you to America and see if you want to live in America? Nope, he didn't want to do that. I says, Gothe, what are you going to do? And he again was stubborn and didn't want any of that. Didn't want to do nothing. And so I told him, I said, you can't steal our stuff now. So if you do that, you'll have to leave. And of course, he just kept right on stealing. And so I told him, Gothe, you gotta leave. And we were getting ready to leave ourselves, which we did. And then another, like a half a year later.
And from Kathmandu, then where did you go? You and your lady friend?
Back to India.
Okay.
Went all different places in India again, and then we went back to the second time in '72. We went back to Kathmandu again.
And how long had you been in India between your Kathmandu stays?
Right.
How long?
Oh well, it was I guess 3 months.
Okay.
And then went back up there and we seen the Australian girl that had taught him English, and we said, have you seen Gothe? And she said, I seen him begging one time in Kathmandu, and that's all she'd ever seen him since then. Mm-hmm. So we never looked for him or nothing. We just because we didn't know what to do. We were Yeah, we just didn't know what to do.
And did you ever see him again?
No, never seen him again.
Wow.
Don't know what happened to him, but at least he had a head start. He did know English. He could speak English, and we tried, but I don't know. I don't know.
Do you ever wonder? I mean, he was considerably younger than you, so in theory, I mean, he could still be around, correct?
He could. They didn't live as long as we did. Life expectancy was a lot shorter.
Sure.
And because of the way he lived, all them first 7 years, I don't know if that would have made a difference. Also, he didn't have a normal life, or I don't know how many years he didn't have.
Normal compared to you and I.
Well, even to the Nepalese.
Okay.
When he was living on the street like
sure,
like that in that little bitty place, and all disease, covered in sores all over his body, and so anyway, that was kind of yeah. I thought about just writing a letter to the post restant in Kathmandu with his name on it and see if he, if it ever got to him, but I never did. I figured it never would anyhow, so I just never tried again.
Well, was Gothe a common name in Nepal?
No, not that I know of.
And Gothe is spelled Gothe, correct?
Yes, Gothe. And so they didn't know his last name, so they just named him Gothe. Mm-hmm. But it was interesting, and love Nepal. The mountains they're magnetic. I wanted to keep going back to them. Went also from Kathmandu one time. This was earlier. I went all the way from Kathmandu to the Chinese border. There was it's up there. It's H03 to Kodari, I think is how you say it. I'm butchering its name. There was a bridge over the river, and there was a hot springs at that Kodari, and that's why we went up there to the hot springs. And so I just took off and walked. It was another, I don't know how many miles to the bridge over the river to China. Mm-hmm. And I stood there at the end of the bridge, and the Chinese soldier on the other side of the bridge with his rifle held in front of him, with his bayonet on it and everything, just looked at him. He just stared back.
So at that time you were not allowed to go into China?
No.
Okay.
I don't even know if the Nepalese, it was a road though. Now it's a checkpoint, and they got banks up there. And so, yeah, I mean, the country has completely changed from when I was there.
Of course.
I mean, it is totally changed. And they have a market there, and a border market, and they have a banks and a school, and they got schools all over now, which they didn't have. Even got some hotels up there.
Well, let me ask you. It's been what, 50 years since you've been back?
72. Okay,
so that's almost 50 years. Yeah. Have you ever thought about what it would be like if you were to go back?
Yeah, of course. There's some. I'd like to go to India more. A lot of places in India that I was so close to and missed. See, you didn't have the network of tourist stuff that you had. They had some tourist places in the big cities, but that's all. And then they were trying to sell you, wanted you to go there to buy something they made or whatever. Instead of I was more into seeing the land and the nature and the things like that.
Well, your story, Jerome, of Gothe the Beggar Boy, just one of the many adventures that you've had on this trip, and I just find it fascinating that you did this, and I appreciate that you came on to talk about the story, especially with Gothe the Beggar Boy. Would you, if you're so willing, and if you have the time in the future, I'd like to have you on again to share even more stories. How does that sound?
Yeah, good. I don't know. You might like when I went back and visited the headhunters of Borneo.
That sounds like a wonderful story for the next time. The Headhunters of Borneo. Apparently you made it out with your head.
Oh, they